everybody. So this is Demira Virgil, and we are on the Queendom Conversations podcast. It is such an honor today for me to have Alma Thomas. She has an amazing story. She has had an amazing journey, and she wanted to get on here today so that she can motivate women and empower and encourage them to keep going no matter the obstacles. So I'm going to let Alma start to just speak and just tell you about herself. And we'll start from there. Alma?
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me on tonight to share my testimony. I am an ordained minister, an author, a motivational speaker, and by occupation, I taught Head Start for 32 years.
Oh, wow.
Presently, I'm retired and I'm working on my 6th book.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely amazing. Let me start by saying this to all the ladies watching this, because this is really important. Alma is in a hospital bed in her house. Okay. I'm going to say that one more time. She logged in from her hospital bed that is inside her house. And she is here today because she wants to encourage all of you and tell you that if she has not given up in spite of all the challenges that she has, you should not give up either. So let's start with your journey. Let's start with what is something major that impacted your life, and so it just completely turned your whole life around, and it was something that you were not expecting, Alma.
In 2009, my 18-year-old son passed away from a heart attack.
He was how old?
18.
Oh, wow.
So that was really something that I didn't expect. It was a club that I got inducted into that I never wanted to be a member of, but it was something that impacted my life in a major way because he died in February 2009, and his first birthday in heaven was April 17th, 2009. And on that day, I was going to unalive myself. Not because I wanted to be unalive, but because on that day, I wanted to spend my son's birthday with him. I was like, for 18 years, I've been making his birthday special, and nobody can celebrate your child's birthday like you can. So I poured a whole bottle of high blood pressure pills into my hand, and I was going to take them. And just as I was about to put them in my mouth, a still voice was like, if you do it, you're not going to see him again. And I put the pills back in the bottle. But as I stated earlier, I am an ordained minister. And in the Black African American community and church, mental health is taboo. It has a stigma attached to it. A lot of people tell you, just be strong, you'll get over it. If you love God, you'll get through this. And even though I knew to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, I wasn't ready to accept that yet. I never expected to be burying my 18-year-old when he should have been going to college. So, excuse me, I was going to church Sunday after Sunday, and I was hurting inside, and I was leaving from church with that same pain. I was healing other people while I was hurting. And I realized that I had to do something, and that mental health is just as important as your physical health. Don't allow anyone to put a stigma on that, because when you have a physical problem and you have to take medication, that's all right. But if you have a mental condition and you have to take medication, then you are filled with a demon. Then you're not. That's not for our people African Americans don't go to therapy. That's a white people thing. And that's not true. That it's okay not to be okay. And if you're struggling with something, seek help, because I didn't care about traditionalism, religion. I just wanted to be cured. I just wanted to know how to get through this thing, because I knew the stages of grief, but reading the stages of grief and going through the stages of grief are quite two separate things. So I went to talk to somebody, and I was able to deal with my grief, not to feel bad because I was still grieving. There's no expiration date on grief.
I agree 100%. So I was writing down a few questions as I was listening to you, and I want to talk about something that's very, very, very important. A mother's grief. I think a lot of times people don't really understand a mother's grief, because a lot of times moms, they don't really talk about it. It's like, that they've had a child to pass, and that there's a pain that's there, but you don't really know exactly how she is feeling inside. And that's one of the things I feel like you will not know until you experience it yourself, right? So there are some women who are going to watch this, and they are in the process of grieving because they've lost a child, or they have not let that grief go. Some ladies grieve for the rest of their lives, and they never really get past it. What are some things, or what is something you can say, or can you share something that you did to help you get through that pain?
I eventually, once I got to the acceptance stage, because the thing is that we want to fix it. We want to make people feel better, but you can't fix it. You can't bring their child back, and that's what they want at the moment. And until go through grief, the stages of grief, just don't stay there, but go through. Like I said, there's no expiration date on grief. Don't feel bad when it might be 15 years, 20 years later, and you're still crying on their birthday. You're still crying when one of their friends graduates or gets married. You're still crying because your child will never be able to do that. So don't let no one put expiration date on grief. Things that you used to do with your child that you no longer feel comfortable doing. Don't be afraid to say no. But one of the things that I did that really helped me was I turned my pain into passion, and I started the Tyshawn Thomas Friends and Family Scholarship, and just out of donations from my friends and family, we have given out 17 scholarships to date, $500 scholarships to African American boys who've been accepted into college.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely amazing. And I want to thank you for that. Something that I never really thought about is I know that it's difficult for mothers every day, so I'm not taking away from that. But I did figure, like birthdays and Christmas and like holidays, I never thought about graduations. Like their best friends are graduating, and their best friends are getting married, and then they're going through all these stages of life. And you were used to seeing your child with this child that is born and doing all these different things throughout life, and so there's an emptiness. And I want to thank you for that, because I have friends who have lost children, and I think that I need to be a little bit more mindful when there are different things going on, not just holidays and birthdays. Do you have other siblings?
Yes, I
do you have
yes, I have another daughter,
okay,
who is 21 years old. So, and that's another thing that I had to realize, that I did have another child, and they go through grief in their own way, and it's hard for them because they don't want to talk about their brother or sister because they don't want you to get upset.
Oh
So
wow.
they're dealing with all of their emotions inside until you get through the stages of grief where you can help them. Like if you're stuck in a stage yourself, you can help your child grieve. So be mindful that children are grieving too because their siblings, they grew up with their siblings, they played with their siblings, so they they have a different kind of grief, but it's still grief nevertheless.
Oh wow, that's an amazing point. So let's talk about some of the struggles that you had after that. So after you lost your son, and then you were suicidal,
Yeah.
then you had to press your way through that pain because you realized that you had another daughter and that she needed you too. So it wasn't that you forgot about your son, but you knew that you had to be there for your daughter as well.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what happened after that?
Then after that, um, the apartment complex that I lived in caught on fire. My apartment didn't burn, but the whole row of apartments was condemned. So I found myself homeless, and we went through the system, and they placed us in a bed bug motel, and we could only stay there for an hour, and then we ended up um at my mom's house, and she lives in a 1 bedroom senior citizen um apartment. So we found ourselves displaced until we were able to find another apartment. Then I got married, and it was like before the wedding he was Mr. Wonderful. He wanted everything that I wanted out of life. He understood my morals and my values, and so he said. But once we got married the next day, it was like, who did I get married to? We stayed together only 3 months because I found out that he was a substance abuser, and he was in denial that he would not admit that he had a problem. So I had to divorce him, and I found out that all the bills that he was supposed to be paying, he wasn't paying them. And by the time I put him out, I owed the light people, the cable people, everybody, all the bills that he was supposed to be paying. Um, and then in 2021, I suffered the massive stroke. I spent 2 years in a nursing home, and while I was in the nursing home, I was abused by a patient. Attacked me 4 times. I'm allergic to mushrooms, and I was fed mushrooms twice, concealed in a dish. Um, they I would go hours without them changing me, and but what that did, it gave me a greater appreciation for the elderly. So I tell everybody that if you have somebody in a nursing home, make sure, even if it's your great uncle to the second power, make sure you check on him. And if you don't have anyone in that nursing home, but make that a part of your ministry to visit, you know, maybe once a month on holidays. Bring them, presents. They don't have to cost a lot of money. They just appreciate anything that you give them. But a lot of the elderly people don't have visitors. They don't have a voice. Someone signed them in and just walked away. And
Oh
I,
wow.
I was like, if I'm being abused like this and I can talk, and
Right.
my family is very much involved because, all they had to do was get a phone call and they were on the phone or coming down there. and my daughter came down once a week, but they still managed to do things that they claim wasn't illegal. They may not have been illegal, but they were immoral.
Oh, wow.
So so if you know someone in a nursing home, just check on them, visit them every once in a while. That make that person's whole day. But so I told you that I am an author, so
Yeah.
my right side was affected, and that's the side that I write with, my right hand. And after the stroke, I have written 3 books. I have typed them on this telephone with one finger. So if you have a God given dream, don't give up on your dream. Just because you face obstacles in your life, don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Um, Reach for the stars. Reach for your dreams. See, I learned that I had 2 things I could be. I could be bitter or I could be better. And I
Right.
chose to be better. I embrace the things that I can do, and I accept the things that I can no longer do. But I didn't throw in the towel. I didn't say, woe is me. I found a way to continue to live out my dream, my purpose in life. And that's the reason, like as you stated earlier, that I go on these podcasts. And people on social media, they're not nice, and they'll say things like, well, why are you showing up from your bed? Why do you want people to see you like that? Because I'm grateful. With people that have had strokes as bad as I did, their cognitive skills was infected, their language skills was affected, but I can still my cognitive skills about me. I can still talk. I can still talk about the glory of God. I can still teach Bible study. I can still speak on virtual summits and conferences. So I'm not giving up. I'm still living my dream life. Yeah, I had some challenges. I'm sure everybody have had some disappointments in life. You had some rejections in life. You have what you might consider your failures in life. But don't give up. If you want to write a book, don't worry about who's going to read it. Just write it. If you want to go back to school, don't worry about you're too old to go back to school. Um just take one course at a time. If you want to start a business, start that business. Don't worry about what if it fails this time. What if it don't?
Right.
Don't give up on your dreams.
So let me take this back a little bit. I've been taking a few notes as you've been talking, and you have um, different sets of trials that you have overcome in different stages of your life. So let me ask you this part first. After your son passed, you said that you became homeless, you and your daughter. So what is the time frame between when you lost your son and then you were homeless?
Um, it was 4 years.
Okay, okay. So when you were homeless, and then this is important because you have some ladies who are going to watch this podcast and they may be in between houses, different situations, divorce or just different things. And so they're trying to find permanent housing, permanent placement. So can you talk about some of the thoughts, or maybe there was a verse or just some of the things you did to keep you encouraged, you and your daughter? Because I'm sure that this affected her the same way that it affected you because you didn't have anywhere to stay. So can you just kind of have a conversation about some of the thoughts you had, some of the things you did to keep you inspired, to keep you in a place to where you did not give up and that you just kept going? Because there are some ladies who literally right at this moment feel like giving up, feel like there's no way out, feel like there are no resources, doors have been shut, they don't have help, they don't have a support system, they have children, and they feel completely lost and they are out there alone. So what are some of the things that helped you get through that season?
That I knew, first of all, it was just a season, that no test lasts forever, that the test has to end. So I was focused on my daughter and going and finding a place. I didn't like when our apartment first burned. I mean not burned, but when it was condemned, the management was like, "Oh, here, take back your security deposit. Go find some place to live. Okay, bye." And I was like, "Wait a minute, that's not how you. This was not my fault. I didn't set the fire.
Right.
I didn't start the fire. I was like, and I don't want no smoke from this fire. I'm not taking back my security deposit because um y'all are gonna give me an apartment in this building when one becomes available."
Right.
So I didn't know. I called legislators and clergy members, and I just didn't lay there and wait for a place to fall in my lap.
Okay.
That faith without works is dead.
Right.
So I knew that I had to do something. I knew I couldn't just take their word for it. And for people who are going through situations, don't be afraid to ask for help. A lot of people, because of their pride, they want people to think that they're doing better than they're actually doing, and they're going through. Don't be ashamed of what you're going through, because it's just for a season. Every season ends. Winter don't last forever, just like summer don't last forever. So you might be going through some rough times, but they don't last forever. Stay strong. Know what your rights are. Know, ask people to help you. Go to housing places and tell them that you're looking for a place, and if you find yourself like you have a place but you might be losing it, there's a lot of programs and resources out there since COVID that will help you, stay in your apartment, because they rather pay up your rent than have to put you in a homeless shelter. So now they finally got it. They're trying to help people stay in their places than have to put them up in shelters.
Okay, that's a really good point. And then I want to say this to ladies out there, and then you feel like giving up. In some situations, ladies, you cannot take no for an answer. Like, you just cannot. There are resources out there. Sometimes you may get a person who don't want to help you, then you go above them. You have to speak to the manager, to the senior manager, to the director, to the regional manager, like who's over this region. Sometimes you just have to be aggressive when you know that there are people out there that can help you. Sometimes you just get in contact with the wrong person, but in some situations, you literally cannot take no for an answer. I have gotten things, been in situations, housing and just different things. And when I was told no, then I found another resource. And when they told me no, well, do you know somebody I can call? Do you know a contact person? So sometimes you have to be a little aggressive. You cannot give up. So that's an amazing point. So let's go to your marriage. You say that you were married for 3 months. And this is an amazing topic to talk about, because my first question is, did you seek God and pray about this person you married prior to marrying them?
No.
Okay.
You're supposed to, now I know you pray first. You don't get what you think you want and then say, God, fix it for me.
Right.
You know, when God has you in this a state of waiting, you have to wait on God for the consequences. You know, some people, because of bad choices and not praying about things, um, they have entered into worse situations. Women have lost their lives
They have.
because they get into a situation and then when they try to get out, the person won't let them out. Thank God that when I told him he had to go, he was like, well, you're supposed to be Christian. I thought you would never throw me out. I was like, I said I would never throw you out for no reason, but you don't want help. You don't want help. So how can I help you and you don't want help? And so you
Just
know, I knew that the
but
church was gonna look down on frown upon that. A lot of people had already told me not to marry him. That God said that he's not the one. That
oh
he's
wow.
the one, and you want what you want. I was like, but he said he want to go to church. He said he want to be saved. He said he want to know the Lord, and he said all this stuff until the wedding day. And once we said I do, and then I was like, okay, who sent you? I was like, I thought it was God, but who sent you? Because
Oh
you're
wow.
not the person that you portrayed yourself to be before we got married. So now, definitely, before I enter anything, I pray and ask God is in His will. I want to be in His will.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So let's talk to your current to the things that you're doing currently. So there are a few things you said, so I'm just gonna go over them. So I said this in the beginning of the podcast that you had a stroke in 2021,
Mhm,
and you are currently in your hospital bed, which is in your home.
mhm.
And you, prior to your stroke, you had written 3 books, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And then once you had your stroke, you were able to function your left arm.
yes,
Okay. So, listeners, this is what she's saying, okay? Because I need you to get this. She has written 3 books um, since she's had her stroke in 2021. She's written 3 books using her left arm, typing with one finger on the phone that she is talking on now. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time because I need you to get this. She is in her hospital bed in her house doing this podcast to be able to motivate you all to not give up. She wrote 3 books prior to her stroke. After her stroke in 2021, ladies, she has written 3 books using her left arm, typing with one finger on the phone that she is on the podcast talking to now. Now, if that is not a source of inspiration and motivation for you, I do not know what is. For her to get on here, do you know how many people would not have even got on this podcast because they are ashamed that they are in a hospital bed? They don't care about how God has brought them through things. They don't care about how they still living. They don't care about how they can motivate others. None of that matters. They would not get on this podcast because of appearance and a fear of what people would think and say about them. She has an amazing message, right? She has words that can empower and that they can inspire. Even though she's had a stroke, she's able to have a conversation and encourage you and tell her story and be honest about the things that she has went through. And that is a true living testimony. She is she is a testimony of what God can do because she does not have to do this. She could be sitting in that bed saying that life is over. She's not able to do the stuff she used to do. Woe is me. And just sitting in complete darkness and depression. But she has decided that she still has a life. She still has a voice, ladies. And if she can do this, you can get up and you, whatever God has told you to do in this assignment of your life, whatever it is in this season that you are supposed to do. There is no reason in this world why you should not be doing it. Whatever resources you need, God is an on-time God. Whatever people you need, who the building you need, the money, like God is an on-time God. Whatever you need, He is going to give it to you at the right time. But you just have to move forward and just believe. When God tells you to move, you need to move. Don't worry about how, when, why, and what. I say that all the time. So let's talk about some of the challenges, because there are a lot of ladies who different things have happened to them, Alma, and they are not able to do some of the things that they used to do. And some women, they are not in a place where they still feel like they are living their lives. Some women feel like this is it for them, or that it's over, or that because life is not the way that it used to be, that they still cannot live a good life. And there are going to be those women, there are going to be some of those women who are going to watch this. So if you had to give someone a message who has gone through struggles and they're not able to live the life that they used to live because of whatever situations they have, what would you tell them?
That you may not be able to do the things you used to do in the same way, but don't give up, because there's always another way.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the first time I tried to type and I tried to use my computer, I couldn't see and I couldn't type the thing. I was getting really frustrated. And, the enemy tried to speak to my mind and say, oh, well, you're never going to write again. God has called me to the nations. And before I had the stroke, and I was wondering, I was like thinking, okay, God is getting ready to send me to Africa. He's getting ready to send me to Jamaica, Aruba. I'm getting ready to do this thing because God has promised me that I'm going to speak to the nations.
Oh, wow.
And when I got the stroke, I said, okay, God, I know you are not a man that you should lie, nor the son of man that you shall repent. Every word that comes out of your mouth is going to accomplish where it was sent. So what are you doing, God? I can't go nowhere. And this bed, I can't roll this bed out my door. And God was like, you going to the nations. And since I've been in this bed, I just counted today, I've been on 233 podcasts since the month of January.
Oh, wow.
January. I'm not talking about for 2 years. I'm not talking about since the month of January. I spoke in Africa, Australia, the United Kingdom. From my bed, I was like, God, you are awesome.
Yes,
That you promised me that I was going to speak to the nations. And I'm thinking that I'm going on planes and boats and all this, but right from my home, I'm going to all these different places and inspiring people and motivating people to get up off of your seat of do nothing and do something. Don't make excuses. I could have made excuses. I could have said, "Oh, woe is me. I can't do this. I can't do that." But I said, no, I wanna find out how I can live my best life. I know that I'm waiting for the manifestation of me to walk again, because God has promised me that I'm gonna walk again. But in the meantime, I'm gonna do what God called me to do. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep Bible study every week. In the meantime, I'm gonna speak on podcasts and stuff. In the meantime, I'm just not going to sit here and wait on God to manifest His promise to me. I'm going to be working while I wait.
Amen.
And so I know that people have faced rejection. I know that people have been disappointed. I know people have slandered your name. People have betrayed you and talked about you. Okay, that happened. You can't undo yesterday, but you have today. Don't put off today for what you can do tomorrow, you're going to do it tomorrow. Because on April 3rd, 23rd, when I laid down, I had a lot of plans for April 24th. I was going to do this and I was going to do that, but I woke up instead in the ICU, which is telling me that I had a 1% chance of living and a 99% chance of dying. So you know when you beat those odds with God, that that nothing can stop me now. I'm unstoppable because I've been through the worst things already. I buried my son already. I stood over there. When you stood over a grave and watched them cover up your child, you've done the worst thing that could happen to you. Anything else you can handle. I look at life like this. You know, when you go to the carnival and you throw the ball real hard at the clown, and the clown goes all the way down, and just before you be able to claim your grand prize or that giant teddy bear, that clown jumps back up again. Well, I've been hit with some hard balls in my life, and I almost went down. But just when the enemy was able to thought he was gonna claim victory over my life, I bounced back up again. See, they put something in that them clowns that make them bounce back. Well, God has placed something in me that I call the bounce back spirit that enables me to bounce back after every disappointment, every rejection, every failure. I can't stick. I can't stay down. I won't allow myself to stay down and wallow in pity. I got to get up and I got to do what God has called me to do. It doesn't look like I thought it was going to look, but I don't look like what I've been through.
Amen. So let me say this. When I interviewed you before, and then we had a conversation prior to this, and then even in this conversation today, you had mentioned that because you're in the bed that there had been small comments. And I'm going to say this. I created this podcast because I wanted women to have a voice. This is a platform for women to get on here and share their stories, to encourage and to empower, because there are so many women in this world who are hurting, who have nobody to talk to, who feel alone. Suicide rates are sky high. And I brought you on this podcast. I brought you on this platform because you have a story, and I know that your voice can help somebody. It's not about appearance. It's not about you being in the bed. It's not about telling you to sit up, and it's not telling you what you can't do and what don't look right, because that is not what I stand for. I am so honored to have you on this platform, and I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm so honored to have you here today because you did not have to do this, and you are an amazing woman. And you have a powerful testimony, and I know that this is going to impact somebody. Do you have any last words you would like to say to the ladies before we leave?
Do you remember when we were in school and somebody would dare you to do something, and you would do it because they
dared you? Yeah.
Well, on tonight, I double dog dare your listeners to dream again. Those dreams that they rock to sleep, awaken the dreamer in you.
Amen, Alma. Can you share with the ladies your social handles, the name of your books, how to find your books, and if you have anything coming up to so that they can support you?
Okay. Well, the major project that I am working on now is I'm compiling my own anthology of parents who have lost children, that they can write a chapter in the book of how they went through, a dedication to their child, whatever they want to write, and a picture of their deceased loved one as a legacy to their child. So if anybody wants to be a part of this anthology, reach out to me. I'm on Facebook as Alma Thomas on Facebook. I'm revamping my website right now, but you can reach me by Alma Thomas at Facebook.
Okay. So, okay.
On my, as soon as my website is up, I will let everyone know, because you can purchase my books. The book that I'm pushing now is I Survived a Stroke Against All Odds.
Okay.
So, Surviving a Stroke Against All Odds, that's the book that I wrote after my stroke. And it talks about everything that I talked about today, but more in depth about what a stroke is and what it does to your body and how I felt and what scriptures that I use. And it also comes with a healing journal that you can write down your thoughts and as you go through your healing journey. So those are two things that I'm really pushing now. You can reach out to me at Facebook, and I will send you an autographed copy of the book.
Okay, and it's Alma Thomas on Facebook. Alma Thomas.
Yes, Alma Thomas.
Ladies, go and follow Alma Thomas, and then once her website is up, and then she has everything together, you can see her post, and then you can support her, because she is an amazing woman. And do you see the testimony that I would have missed if I was focused on the wrong things? She is an absolute blessing. Again, my name is Demira Virgil, and this is Queendom Conversations Podcast, and we empower women one podcast at a time. Thank you so much, Alma, for coming. I really appreciate you, and I hope that once you finish the book and everything is posted on the website, you can come back again, and then we can have some more conversations.
Yeah, I would love to have the parents that are part of the book come back and tell their testimonies of the journey that they've been on since they lost their baby.
That would be absolutely amazing. Again, thank you all, ladies, and you all have a blessed evening. Hello, beautiful people. I'm Demira Virgil, your host at Queendom Conversations Podcast, where we empower women one podcast at a time. At Queendom, I'm not just a host. I am a creator of many things that reflect the narratives and testimonies of survivors just like you. Visit queendom.com and discover a collection infused with meaning, from candles and aroma melts to prayer books, journals, apparel, and canvas art. Each piece carries a story, a survivor's journey, and a testament to resilience. And a special thanks to our sponsor, The Rose Co. at roseco.store. Experience the best hair where beauty meets luxury. Visit roseco.store today and support a small women-owned business. Your support truly matters, as it empowers young women and contributes to their success. I love to see young women stepping out on faith and making their mark on the world.